G'day guys, welcome back. Welcome to Pouring Your Heart Out. Thanks for being here today. Right, I haven't played with my crushed velvet inserts for a while now, so I thought I would do that. I've cleaned the backs of them. They get so dirty so quickly, don't they? Now, I made these quite a while ago now, and I was doing the chameleon, changing colors and things on them, but yeah, I haven't used them for a while. And I was having a look at YouTube the other day, as you do, and I saw a picture of kind of like a crushed velvet, but it was bigger folds, and I thought, oh, that looks really pretty. So I went and had a look, and it was, I don't know the lady's name, but it was Tea and Art. So hello, if you're watching, what's your name? I'm not sure. Anyway, I saw the photo and I thought, oh, that looked really nice. She used this, she made her own, like, wasn't crushed velvet like this, it was something a little bit different, but she made her own, and she used the Pearl X interference gold on it, and I thought, oh, it just looks so pretty and so elegant. I wanted to have a little go, so totally inspired by her for this video. I'm just double cleaning these and popping them in my mold. This is my 12 centimeter 4-inch, it's the deep mold. I've got one that's 6 millimeters and I've got one that's 10 millimeters deep. This is the 10, so it easily fits these inserts. So they are in my eBay store if you want to grab yourself one. Just double cleaning these. I cleaned the bottom and I forgot to clean the top. It's always the way, isn't it? So what I'm going to do, there's a couple of different ways you can use these inserts. And by all means, you're most welcome to make your own, crushed velvet. I've seen quite a few people doing these since I've done them. They're a bit tricky to do, I must say. Like, if you've tried, you'll know they're a little bit tricky to do because you get a lot of bubbles in them. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people doing them, and a lot of them are coming out really nicely. Some of them have got bubbles, which when I started doing them, yeah, I had bubbles too, but I persevered, and now I can make the molds. I can sell you the molds so you don't have to bother on your own. Right, so they're in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dust them with my interference gold, and then I'm going to pour some, I think I'm just going to do white. I'm just going to pour white resin over it, and then once it's set up, then I can unmold them, put the resin piece back into the mold, and then I'm just going to pour clear over the top. So there's two different ways you can do this. You can pour clear into these first, and then demold and put the clear side down and then dust that. But the only issue I have with doing that is because I want the top coat to be gorgeous and shiny and shimmery and, just perfect. So if you pour clear on these and then turn them upside down and put them back in your mold, if your mold is maybe got some little marks on it, or it's scratched or damaged or not quite new looking as it once was, your top coat, like when you flip it over, it might have a few little marks and things on it. So that's why I'm doing it this way, and you'll see what I mean by the end when I unmold it. So that's one of them. Now what I'm going to do is, it's quite difficult to see where you've been because this is, almost the color of the mold. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my little can of air duster, move that out of the way, and I'm just going to blow that excess dust off. Okay, so I'm going to just put the camera on pause now. I'm going to do the others. You don't need to see me do that 4 times. It's just dusting with a little, it's actually a little makeup brush, Nutrimetics. I like using the soft one. So I'm going to do the others. I'm going to mix up my resin, and I'll come back to you once that is done. Look at it shimmer already. Oh, it's going to look so pretty. Alright, so I'm using the Platinum 360 Plus resin because I'll be able to flip these over and do the other side in just a few hours. So it's really good. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put white in. I've got this huge jar. It's a very big jar, but like it only came not even half full. So I'm gonna use it up because I don't like the fact that it's such a big jar and all my others are little jars. So I'm gonna use it up. Let's just put, oh, I don't know, about that scoop in there. So yeah, I've mixed up 150 grams of part A and 64 grams of part B. The Platinum 360 Plus is a 2-to-1. Some resins are 1-to-1. You'll usually find that the really thick resins, like the art coats, top coats, things like that, are usually 1-to-1. Not all the time, but mainly. That's what I found anyway, with the really thick ones, the art coat ones. And this one's a 2-to-1. But because A is heavier than B, you can't just go exactly 2-to-1. I have got a chart. I've put it up in one of my videos. I can't remember which one, but I have got it. So I just refer to my little chart and I know it's 150 grams of A and 64 grams of B. So 214 grams. It's probably going to be too much. I was only going to make up the next one down on my chart, which was 179 grams, and I thought, oh, I'd rather have just a little bit more left over than, you know, not have enough. Now, when I made these, I made the inserts exactly the same size as the coaster cavities, but you're always going to get a little bit of resin going down between the two. It's always going to be a tiny little gap there. It won't matter. When we unmold these, we'll just peel any leftover resin, anything that's could have run underneath, we'll just peel it off. So it's not a problem, so don't be concerned. It's actually going to be funny because when I unmold these, we're going to have white on one side because it'll be white resin, and we'll have white on the other side because it'll be white silicone. All right, are we opaque enough? I think so. Alrighty. So make sure it's really well mixed in. So this is going to be the back of the coaster, okay? So we don't need to worry too much about bubbles, but you may be able to see them on the other side, so try to like minimize your bubbles. I'm not going to spray alcohol on this because it'll make a little like spots in my powder. I'm just going to pour slowly and gently. I'll just let that run over and cover by itself. I'll come back and top it up later. Hopefully I've got enough resin. Oh my gosh. Actually, I probably don't need to fill these actually all the way. I just need to cover them basically. Because the coaster, when we've done our finished coaster, it's not going to be the full depth of what this coaster mold is. Oh my gosh, I got a bit of tape stuck to me. Oh golly. So yeah, it won't be they won't be so deep. Now let me just ease that over. I don't want to dislodge any of my pigment powder, so be very careful just to skim the top of the resin because I don't want to scrape that mica powder. I think that first one's probably got a bit much in it now. I got a bit carried away. But yeah, like I said, you don't need to fill these to the top. They just need to be covered like so. I'd have to try and get a little bit of resin out of that first one, but I don't know that I can without, I think I'll get a spoon. I'll probably end up scratching it with the pop stick. All right, so that's it there. Didn't need all of it anyway. Let's give that a bit of a torch. If you can see any little bits of the crushed velvet look, like there's that little bit just there, just put a little bit more on. Just make sure it's covered. But yeah, you certainly don't have to fill your whole mold. I mean, you can if you want to, but you don't have to, because when we flip this, when we unmold this, flip it over, put it back in the mold, we're going to top it up again anyway, so you don't have to fill them up all the way now. But I will take a little bit out of that one just because it's got more than the rest of them. Give it a torch. All right, so that's basically it now. We just have to wait until that has set up, little black dot, and so that we can unmold them and put them back in. All right, so that's it for the next step, and I'll see you when we're ready to do the following step. Righto, so it's the next day. I ran out of time yesterday to come back, so let's have a little look. Now, if you remember me saying it's going to be the same on the top and the bottom, it's going to be white. Let's get them out. I'm not sure whether I'll put them back into this mold or whether I'll put them into my thinner mold, because I don't want them to be this thick. So I'll come up behind you, sneak up behind you. Boo. All right, so that's the resin side. That's the silicone side. All right. Now, you may have a little bit of overflow there, like I said to you, but that's okay. It's easy enough to just, you know, break off. So here we are, peeling that silicone insert off. There it is. All the colour came off beautifully. All right, now this is what we're looking at. Look at that. Wow. So if I look straight down on it, it just looks white. But then when it catches the light, you can see that interference gold shimmering away. It's really pretty. So this is now what we're going to pour our clear onto, okay? So you can, if you want to, take off these little edges. Up to you. You don't have to. You can just put it back in the mold like that, or you can just trim them off. I might leave a little bit on there and just trim a bit off. It comes off pretty easily, like so. But you're always going to get that because, you know, the inserts are just sort of sitting in there. Even though they are the same size, you are going to get a little bit of leakage, but look, it comes off really easily. You just do this with your finger, with your thumb, and just peel it off. So there we go. You don't even need to like sand the edges or anything, because this is going to go back into the mold now and then get resin poured on top. You're not going to, you know, worry about any little edges, but I may just trim a tiny bit more off so that they're even all the way around. So that's that. All right, let's do the next one real quick. I don't know which is silicone and which is resin. They're all going to be the same. I'll just do this one and then I'll get on to tidying them up and mixing up my clear resin for the next lot, the next little step. So same thing, just peel them off. Probably a good idea to peel them off over your bin so you don't have to go and pick up all the little bits like I do now. I've got to go pick them all up. A bit thicker on that side. Just snap them off. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, hey? Look at that. So pretty. Now I am in two minds about whether or not I want to put some gold, little pieces of crushed gold in around the edges. Not sure. But see, this, it's going to make it quite deep, so I may go and May go and get my other mold, my 6mm one, and put them in that one, because I only need a very thin little layer on top. All right, so I'll go and get myself organized. I'll mix up some clear resin, and I will come back to you. So I've made up another 100 grams of A and 43 grams of B in the Platinum 360. I decided to put these just back into the same mold. For those people that are just using this mold of mine, you can use this one. You can, if you can use the other one as well. It's been so long since I used my inserts that I probably poured them a little thick. So when you're pouring on top, like, do as I say, not as I do. I've forgotten how to use them. Just as well I've gone back and revisited them, because they are gorgeous. When you dust your insert and then you pour your top colour on, don't make it too thick. Just cover, unless you want a thick coaster, but just cover the surface. And because it's all crinkled and like that, you know, they're a little bit uneven. Some parts are higher than others, and you know, that's just how they are. That's the beauty of them. So just cover your highest section and leave it. Don't like try and fill your mold up. Now these are so gorgeous. I just think that these are a little bit too artificial looking, and then I thought, well, what about using some of these which are a little bit more natural looking? And then again I thought, you know, the old saying, less is more. Just let's concentrate on the beauty of the actual piece itself. I would rather than come back with my gold pen and just do an elegant simple edge around it, rather than doing too much. All right, because these are quite busy as they are, so I've decided to do that. Now because it's got all these little crinkles and wrinkles and things in it, I am going to just spray with my 100% alcohol just to help reduce the bubbles. So I've just got it in here, and that will hopefully help prevent some of the bubbles from forming. So again, we don't want it too thick, just cover the surface. Unless of course, you know, you want a thick coaster, but you don't have to put too much in. All right, so that can just spread there while I do the next one. And again, you will have some resin going down the edges, but it won't matter. It won't make any difference to your piece. It'll still be really beautiful. It's just how it is. Okay, next one. I just got that little atomizer from the dollar shop, and I poured my alcohol into that because the alcohol in the bigger bottle, like it hasn't got such a small, like a little misting nozzle. The drops that come out are more sort of droplet than mist, so I just put them in the little misting bottle, and I prefer that. All right, so that's done. Let me just make sure that they're all covered. You're covered. You could do with a tiny little bit more. Make sure that everybody's covered. And now what I'll do is, what I normally do is, because I've got a window just there, I'll go and stand at the end of my table and look across the surface, and then I can see if there's any little, you know, mountains sticking up. Go away, fly. Sitting right next to me on my board. All right, let me go and have a little look across the top now. We'll see if there's anything poking up. If there is, I need to put a tiny bit more in. A little bit there, a tiny bit there. So I'll just put a little bit more on. All right, let's have another little look across the surface. Yep, that's got it. Beautiful. Alrighty, so they're not totally full to the top, So give these a last little torch. I will come back and torch them just every few minutes until they start to go off, because I don't want anything falling into them or any bubbles that I can prevent from forming. So I will cover them. I don't know what that is. Actually, there's a tiny little spot there that's poking through. So there we go. And that's pretty much it. So it's very simple, and you get a really, really beautiful effect. Probably can't really see much now because it's dark. Looking forward to my new lights arriving. It's just a very subtle, I think, elegant and beautiful look. You know, sometimes, like I said, less is more. You don't have to do too much to these pieces to have a real statement piece, I think. So this one I think looks more like satin. When I unmold them, I'll put them in front of the window so that you can see better. I think they look like satin, you know, it's just kind of draped. They're just so beautiful. I don't see any bubbles, but I will keep a little check on them over the next few minutes. So that's it. All right, that's it done. I will come back to you tomorrow when it's time to demold, and then we'll just put this little gold edge around them. All right, see you soon. It's the next day. These have set up, and let's get them out. Now there's nothing really to reveal as such because you can see the top, but we'll get them out, and I'll have a little look, see what they're doing on the other side. I'll just get that out of the way for a minute. Now I've got my little emery board just in case I need to sand any edges, but I do want to put the gold on the sides. So let's have a little look. Don't they look pretty? Oh, so nice. So you can see there, I can't actually see what you're seeing because of the glare, but you can see how there's the top half is clear and then the bottom half is the white. So what I'm going to do is, I've got a tiny little lip there. I'll just give them each a little sand, and then I'll come back and put the gold on. Just be a minute. I'm just going to do it like just with this, just like that. But I don't want to do it over here because I'm going to make a mess with dust. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the pen that I'm going to use, the Deco Color Premium. Let's have a little look, see how this goes, hey? So what I'll do first is just go around the outside. Probably need to do 2 coats. You tend to have to do 2 coats when it's more of a clear color like that. You can see it's not covering very well, so I will have to do 2 coats. So I'm going to do that, but this is what I really look forward to doing, is the top, because that's when everything just pops. And around we go. So I just catch the edge of the coaster in the middle of the nib there, and round we go. We have to do 2 coats on this one as well. Look at that, look how pretty it's looking. So I think just simple, elegant, with this little gold edge. You can do it as thick or as thin as you want. I'm just following the edge there with my nib of the pen. But yeah, I'm going to have to do 2 coats, unfortunately. Normally I just do 1 coat, but because it's clear, it seems to need 2 for some reason. There we go. Alright, I'll have to wait for that to dry. I'll give everything 1 coat and I'll come back and do another coat. So I will see you soon, but they're looking so pretty, aren't they? Look at that. So pretty. Does it look like it's satin just been folded and left on the back of the couch? Really pretty, love it. Simple elegance. Right, I'll be back once I've done 2 coats.